Welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Keegan Sarwate, and one thing I love about Live Oak is the community that it creates. I'd like to welcome any guests we have today. If this is your first time here, please stop by the visitors table so we can meet you and answer any questions that you might have. As part of our mission, we want to enhance the connections between each of us and also with the outside world. You can stay connected with everything happening at Live Oak through our weekly email newsletter. There's a link on our homepage. And during this worship service, no need to put your phone away. We encourage you to post on social media things you hear today and maybe even an invitation for a friend to join you next week. Today, our chalice at Live Oak is being lit by Morena, Elliot, and Eric, wherever they are. Do you guys know how to do it? And now, here and at home, let us light our chalices with these words. Once again, as with so many other mornings, our lives have brought us to this place, this holy ground of being and becoming, crucible of revelation and relationship, harbor of religious community. Let us open ourselves to the morning, set our lives aside for these moments, and gather the strength to move forward into the life that calls us. This is a congregation bowed not by creed, but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm this covenant now. We affirm a caring community of and for all ages, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey.
This morning, you're going to hear the time of wonder in 3 acts. So before we begin, let's ground for a moment. Let's ground ourselves. Let's settle down in your seat. Put your feet on the floor, get comfortable, and let's take a deep breath in collectively. Hold and release. I invite you to take 2 more breaths. Before we begin our story, good news, bad news, I need to ask for your help because you are going to be the villagers. And it's an easy and fun part. Here's how you'll know what to say and when to say. I have 2 signs. One says good news and one says bad news. So we're going to practice. When we see good news, we're all going to go, ah! Or maybe we'll clap, however you express your good news. And when you see bad news, what are we going to do? Oh, yes. So let's practice. So tonight for dinner, you're going to have ice cream. Bad news, your refrigerator is not working and everything melted. Right? Very disappointing. So, great. Now you've learned your part, and before we begin our story, we're going to get ourselves warmed up, me, and we're going to sing together to get our speaking voices ready. So please rise in spirit or body for when the Spirit says do. And if you feel like dancing, please do.
You got to do when the Spirit says got to sing, sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Spirit says sing, Spirit says do, Spirit says do, Spirit says do, Spirit says do, Spirit says do. Not just do.
Okay, so now you know how to play your role, and we've warmed up our voices. So let's begin our story, Good News, Bad News. I'd like to invite my farmer and their favorite horse to the chancel. Once there was a farmer who owned a beautiful horse. She loved this horse and spent long hours caring for it. In fact, the farmer's horse was widely admired. The people of her village would often stop as they walked by to gaze upon it and comment on its beauty. Comments? One afternoon, the farmer rode her beloved horse in from the fields after a day of work. But in her haste, she didn't fully close the gate to the corral. That evening, as the moon rose up over the pasture and the farmer slept in her house, the beautiful and precious horse pushed open the gate, running away quickly toward the forest and into the far-reaching trees. The next morning, as the sun rose, the farmer discovered the empty corral. Villagers walking past the corral also noticed that it was empty. Word that the beloved horse had escaped spread quickly among the farmer's neighbors. But the farmer just said,
"Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, it's too soon to tell."
The villagers were certain that the horse would never return and that the farmer was stubbornly not accepting her loss. Days passed until one afternoon, at dusk, the farmer's horse emerged from the forest, trotting back towards the corral. And the neighbors were stunned to see that a herd of wild horses was following the farmer's horse. All the horses found their way into the corral and to the trough of food waiting there for them. This time, the farmer was sure to lock her gate. Word of the turn of events quickly spread among the villagers, and the farmer's neighbors came to celebrate. But the farmer only said,
"Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, it's too soon to tell."
And with this, our farmer and our horses will sit down in our front row, just for now. We'll continue our interesting story in just a moment. So far, our villagers have celebrated a happy situation, and they have offered sympathy for a sad one. In this way, they're similar to our community here. In this congregation, we care deeply enough about each other that another person's sorrows become ours to mourn. Someone else's joy is ours to celebrate. Our listening to the joys and concerns is a way of healing and weaving our hearts together. Let us share this time together with open hearts. From Jackie, we had fun at Eeyore's birthday. From Apollo, I'm scared, I'm worried, and a multitude of feelings. It feels like I have so many worries. from Henley. I am a soldier, and I'm glad to do it. You'll understand that later. I'd like to share joy over all the folks who have been going to the ledge and have been having their voices heard, being allies to our LGBTQIA trans community and doing the work. I hope that they find rest, and I hope that all of us are here to support them and hold them in the hard work that is to come. Let us have a moment of silence to hold each other in love. Whether the coming days bring us joy or sorrow, may the deep peace and love of this community sustain us. Please rise in body and spirit and join in singing, "Come Sing a Song with Me." I'd like to invite our farmer and our farmer's son back to the chancel. When we paused our story, the farmer's horse had just returned to the corral, bringing a herd of wild horses. The farmer enjoyed watching this new herd of horses in her corral. Her grown son enjoyed them even more. He had been watching them with admiration. One of the wild horses in particular, a beautiful horse that looked as if she could run as fast as the wind, fascinated him. He decided to try and break the wild horse and train her to ride with him on her back. But that afternoon, as he tried to break her, the horse threw the son, breaking both of his legs. As you can guess, the farmer had just one thing to say.
Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, it's too soon to tell.
The villagers were clucking and tisking about the son's broken legs and how terrible this accident was from the distance. Can you hear it? The thundering of more horse hooves could be heard entering the village. This time it wasn't a herd of wild horses, but the emperor's soldiers riding into the valley, flags flapping in the air, armor gleaming in the sun.
We need young men for war.
boys.
For war! For war! We need young men for war.
As the troops wound their way from farm to farm, they announced the news of the war on the far edges of the country.
We need men for war.
It was a large war effort, so every able-bodied young person in the country was being conscripted. That means you have to go. You don't have a choice. When they reached the farmer's house, they found her injured son and left him behind.
No, we don't want a broken one.
They excused him from mandatory service because his legs were still healing. Even as the villagers mourned the departure of their healthy children, the neighbors who came to celebrate with the farmer that her son was safe. Let's try that again. The villagers came to celebrate with the farmer the fact that her child did not have to go. And how do you think the farmer responded?
Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It's too soon to tell.
As you can imagine, this story of ours could go on, but we'll end it here on a happy note. Let's thank our actors who helped bring the story to life. Just take it with you. I'll take that. How wonderful. How terrible. How confusing. The joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts this morning illustrate the fact that our lives are always absorbing new joys and sorrows. Our paths are continually shaped by good news and by bad news as we try to make sense of the new direction we're given. The folktale that we just heard echoes something else that we already know. Life takes strange turns. Life throws us curveballs. Life contains surprises that we never saw coming and aren't sure what to do with. Maybe you've learned that sometimes good news turns out to be not so good news. Sometimes the things we hope for and reach for don't bring us the happiness we actually expected. We know that sometimes bad news is just that, plain and simple, an utter tragedy from which it's hard to heal. But once in a while, bad news can open the door for growth. Sometimes sorrows can lead us to places we could never have imagined. How wonderful. How terrible. How confusing. Ever since human beings could formulate questions about life and the great mystery, we've wondered, why do our paths take such sudden turns? And when those turns happen and we struggle to know, how do we respond to life's curve? How do we struggle? We struggle, and how do we respond to those curveballs? As Unitarian Universalists, we don't have a fixed answer to questions about why our paths twist and turn so suddenly. Do you believe that the Spirit of life has planned your life journey? Do you believe that fate or karma has mapped out the direction of your life? Are we guided along our journey at all, or is it the road in front of us, open in every direction, shaped only by our free will? These questions form the mystery in which we move and breathe and dwell for every person here. There may be a different answer for each of us, but we ask the questions freely and we embrace them as part of our journeys. When we stumble upon our hard-won answers, we remember that what each person knows is just a piece of the truth. How then do we ride those mysterious waves of joy and sorrow? In our story, Most of us were pretty sure whether the story was turning happy or sad. But the farmer had the same response to each surprise, right? Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It's too soon to tell. It's as if she were saying, I don't know how this story ends, so I'm going to bear witness to this piece of it without jumping ahead and drawing conclusions. In the paths that our lives take, there's both pain and glory in the not knowing. When seen up close, our small steps may lead to nowhere but confusion. It's not until we step back that we see through the gift of time or perspective the topography of our journeys. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition invites us to observe that larger journey with compassion and to make meaning from it. We challenge ourselves to believe in the goodness of life, the importance of justice, and the power of hope. And we believe that every sudden swerve into mystery is made gentler by the beloved community. We don't have to do it alone. As the paths of our lives continue to unfold, may we be good companions to one another, and may our journeys bring us meaning and hope.
Please join together in singing our hymn, Take My Hand. This simple chant was written by Unitarian Universalist Jennifer Hazel for the 2001 bridging ceremony held at our General Assembly.
I will sing the first verse, and then you can repeat the first verse after me, and we'll continue through the hymn. Take my hand. Take my hand. Take my hand. Take my hand. Ooh, take my hand. That's the first verse.
This morning, we pause to recognize the youth in our community who are taking an important step in their own journeys and moving forward into their futures. Elliot, Eric, and Marina are all graduating from high school this month. Many of you have watched these youth grow up and sheltered them with your love. In a moment, we'll hear about each one of our seniors, but first, just a reminder, these youth are now stepping into young adulthood. Marina, Elliot, Eric, you are going out into the world, but we're not sending you away. This is your congregation, your home, always and forever. In the coming years, your life journeys will inevitably, at times, twist towards sorrow and detour you back into joy. Whether it's to seek comfort or celebration, we hope that you'll share with us your spiritual journey and your spiritual home. So, I'm going to ask if you're comfortable. If you're comfortable, Elliot, will you come up? Come up, friend. Give a hand. Elliot is a singer. Come up here. Come join me. It's okay. It's like that, only if you're comfortable. So, Elliot is a singer, a songwriter, loves music. They have been in the same Girl Scout troop since kindergarten and were the top cookie seller in their troop every year. One year, they sold 1,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. That's a lot of cookies. They earned their bronze award with their troop. They also worked as a counselor and training at 2 separate camps. Elliot loves volunteering with Girl Scouts at the food bank and the diaper bank and the animal shelter. Elliot has worked in the nursery at this church for about a year and does an awesome job, by the way. Yes, thank you. They love working with little kids because little kids are better than people. That's a quote. Elliot values their UU identity and their experience in this church. They have attended 2 regional youth rallies, several church camps, and have been at Live Oak since before they were born. They love to tell people they first met trans people at church. Let's give a round of appreciation. We're going to give you a gift, okay? And this is for you. Would you like to stay up here, or would you like to sit down?
I don't care.
Which would you like? Want to sit on the steps?
Okay.
We're deciding what we're most comfortable with. I am now going to invite Eric, if you are comfortable and willing to come forward. And this, I'm just going to say, as your new director, this is my first time meeting Eric, so I'm really thrilled to meet you. Hi, Eric. I'm Chris.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. Come on up. So all of you have the advantage. Eric started attending Live Oak UU when he was a toddler. Oh, I've just remembered. Okay, I messed up, folks, but that's okay. There it is. Somebody got my back. There you go. So there's Elliot. Yeah. Now we've got Eric. Yeah. So let's start over with that. Eric started attending when he was a toddler. There's a picture of a toddler. That's what reminded me I should have slides. There it is. He is a good friend who cares deeply about those he is close to. He is a good listener who is always there for his friends. He is musical, having played trumpet with the Round Rock High School band and the Worst band. Yep. I love that, Worst. He is well-traveled, including Seattle, Atlanta, North Carolina, Florida, Colorado, New York, Boston, Toronto, and Sydney, and I imagine there's going to be a lot more. Yeah. Eric will be attending Colorado State University this fall. Let's show him some love. Thank you. Marina, come on up. Compliments being given, it's awesome. Let's see. Marina has played French horn for 7 years, was in marching band for 4, and was section leader her senior year. Marina is a hard worker who was promoted within 2 months of beginning her job at, I want to say Atiana's. boutique. Very nice. She enjoys crocheting, playing piano and guitar, and hanging out with her friends. Marina is passionate about social justice, advocating for anti-racism, women's rights, and the LGBTQIA+ community. Marina will begin classes at Central Texas Beauty College in September in pursuit of her cosmetology license. And in case you don't know, she has a wicked sense of humor, loves the arts in all its different forms, and is interested in current events, especially politics. So, thank you. You're very welcome. And I'm not sure. Elliot's still sitting there. I'm so sorry. So, being part of a Unitarian Universalist is embracing our mistakes and learning from them. And I am happy to model that for you. So. That was totally on purpose. Yeah. Thank you, Keegan. Okay. So, inside each of the bags, I just want the congregation to know there is a handmade chalice so that they can carry it with them wherever they go, and a little token. But to the three of you, take these chalices and use them to find your own path, keeping them as a symbol of yourself and your beliefs. And as you go forward, it is your responsibility to keep your flame aglow. Remember the love and the faith that are in these gifts, because they are there for you whenever you need them. I now offer the bridging prayer by Donna DeSculo. I invite you to take a deep breath as we open our hearts to these words. Oh, let us go. We gather in this community to honor our young people who have touched our lives and our congregation with their creativity, with their boundless energy, with their love. We gather filled with hope and confidence, for they are the future as well as our present. As they venture out into the larger world, may they carry with them faith in the power of love to change the world. The realization that what they do matters so greatly. And understanding how acts of love and justice connect us to each other. May they love the world and bless it with their lives. For those of us on this side of the bridge who have known the uncertainty of change, who have experienced the grace of community, who have felt the love and reaped the benefits and the gifts, may you remember and reach out. May all present honor our young adults with acts of commitment and courage, compassion and continuity. O love that will not let us go, bless each of our journeys and make us good companions to one another. Amen. We will now sing verses 3 and 5 of Take My Hand.
Soul.
Think back for a moment on the paths that your life has taken. The gift of time often allows us to see where our journeys have unfolded clearly and straightforwardly, and where our paths have taken mysterious twists and turns. In this part of our service, I invite all of us to consider the surprises and the curveballs of your life, whether it was good news or whether it was bad news that opened the door. Along the path of your life, which surprise can you look back to full of gratitude? Take a minute or two now to reflect. If you're a parent, please talk to your children or your youth for a moment about surprises that he or she or they are grateful for. So let's just think for a moment. While you're considering this, there are baskets that you'll see on the end of rows with footprints. And I'm going to ask you to write down that unexpected step that you're grateful for. So if you see a basket at the end of the row, grab it, help pass them out. Everybody's a helper today. So I see some by Jim. Everybody gets a footprint. These footprints will be put along our fellowship hall later today in a series of curving paths. And your footprints will bear witness to the paths that lie behind us and will serve as a message of hope to others as each of us continues to receive new surprises into our lives. So, write an unexpected turn in your life that you're grateful for. Thank you for sharing this piece of your life with your community. You already share so much of yourself with our congregation, your life wisdom, your time, your talents. As we collect this morning's offering, please put your footprint in the basket as an affirmation of your place among us. And please put in your offering as an affirmation of generosity and outreach.
We are the tradition of the Free Church. Our church and our community outreach are supported not from an outside source, but from within. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. We share what is offered every week with an organization that upholds our Unitarian Universalist values. As you know, or you might not, Live Oak UU is hosting this year's Cedar Park and Leander Pride event. Last year's Leander event drew more than 500 attendees. This year, Cedar Park Pride and Leander Pride are proud to present the 2023 event, Queer Empower. The objective for the July event is to raise awareness among community members about issues facing the LGBTQIA+ community and provide useful education and insight on how to address these issues and be an effective ally. The event this year will be provided for no cost to the community members. Expenses will go towards security, supplies, music, performers, and other costs to run the event. Your donations are much appreciated and will help provide a much-needed event for our LGBTQIA+ community. May an offering be received in gratitude and love.
We had a robust performance in the center. It was awesome. That was great. That threw me a little bit. So this morning for faith development, we have OWL going on, and today is the K2 celebration for graduation. Yes. So they will be meeting in room 205. That's a different room than usual, 205, where they will celebrate today. 4 through 6 will be in their regular space with their facilitators, our adults, parents, and caregivers as sexuality educators. You are in room 208 today. Our regular faith development for children is in room 206. And in the room 105, I just want you to know, I had announced that there was a leadership development workshop today. That is for committee chairs and leadership people. So those are all the different things you have going on. There are table activities for you to engage in and have fellowship with each other. And we invite you to stay and develop your faith. Oh, high school, you're in the library?
Okay, thank you.
Right? The teen zone is in the library. All right.
Just as the farmer discovered, and just as your footprints bear witness, more surprise turns await us on this life path. Our closing hymn reminds us to have faith that we'll get there and that we'll do it together.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. wo ya 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 ya, wo ya 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 ya, wo ya 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 ya, wo ya ya ya, wo ya ya. That is all. Thank you.
In the coming days and weeks and years, there will be times when the path before you is clear, and there will be times when the path is so foggy that your next step will feel scary. When the way is clear, may you offer hope and strength to others. And when the path is uncertain, may there be an outstretched hand to hold yours. Blessed be. Amen. Namaste.
And now for the chalice extinguishing. So if one of or all of you three would come up again. Come on, man. You're over there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How long has it been out?
We blew it out a little bit for like a good 15 seconds. There you go.
Okay. Our closing words are by Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Laurelyn Bellamy. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace. And now, as we depart, we extend and receive the gift of hospitality by taking the first 5 minutes to talk to someone we don't yet know well. May we all know the blessings of friendship and community.